My beloved child, do not scroll past this moment. Do not dismiss this as another ordinary sound in a crowded world. Pause with me. Breathe with me. For what you are hearing right now is not random, and it is not meant for everyone. It is meant for you. Yes, you. There are messages that drift like wind, touching many and settling on none. But this is not one of them. This is a whisper wrapped in urgency. This is a calling wrapped in tenderness. This is a moment in time that has been carefully aligned so your eyes would see it and your heart would feel it. Don't miss it, only you can see this. Those words are not a coincidence. They are a summons. You have been sensing something lately, haven't you? A stirring you cannot fully explain. A quiet awareness that something is shifting, even if nothing around you seems different. Perhaps you tried to ignore it. Perhaps you told yourself it was just imagination. But deep inside, there hath been a gentle tug. That tug is me. My beloved child, there are seasons in your life when opportunities shout. And there are seasons when they whisper. Right now, I am whispering. Not because this moment is small, but because it is sacred. Sacred things are rarely loud. They require attention. They require hunger. They require a heart that is willing to lean in instead of walk away. You stand at the edge of something important. Not by accident. Not by luck. But by divine design. I have watched your silent questions. I have seen the nights when you stared at the ceiling, wondering if you were missing something, wondering if you had overlooked a door that was meant for you. I know the fear that says, what if I let my moment pass? I know the ache of uncertainty that sits quietly in your chest. Listen to me now. This is not the moment to doubt. This is the moment to awaken. There are thousands who will hear words like these and move on unchanged. But you are not thousands. You are my beloved child. There is something in your spirit that recognizes when I am near. There is something in your heart that knows when eternity brushes against time. That is why you feel this urgency. That is why your attention has been captured. Only you can see this because only you carry the key to what comes next. I will not force your eyes open. I will not push you through the door. I invite you. I call you. I draw you with love. Do not miss this shift. Do not dismiss this nudge. What feels small today will reveal itself as significant tomorrow. And I would not have brought you here if there was not something waiting for you on the other side of this moment. Stay with me, my beloved child. Something is unfolding. And it begins now. My beloved child, let me tell you something that your anxious thoughts have tried to deny. You are not here by accident. This moment did not find you by chance. You did not stumble into these words the way a leaf stumbles across the ground. No, I guided you here. I arranged this meeting long before you realized you needed it. There are appointments written in heaven that never appear on your calendar. You wake up thinking it is just another ordinary day. You scroll, you search, you sigh. And yet, beneath the surface of your routine, something sacred is unfolding. I am always working beyond what you can see. I move quietly through the details of your life, aligning moments, stirring desires, placing whispers in your path. You have asked me for direction. You have asked me for clarity. Some days you ask boldly. Other days you ask through tears. Even when you stopped asking out loud, your heart was still speaking. I heard every word. I heard even the silence between the words. Let me tell you a story, my beloved child. There was once a traveler who stood at a crossroads. He had been walking for many years, carrying both dreams and disappointments in his pack. One path looked bright and crowded. Many people walked it, laughing loudly, confident in their direction. The other path was narrow and quiet. It seemed almost hidden by the trees. The traveler felt drawn to the quiet path, but he hesitated. What if I am wrong? He asked himself. What if I miss something better? So he lingered at the crossroads, watching others move forward. Hours turned into days. Doubt grew louder than his inner knowing. Eventually, he chose the crowded road, not because it was right for him, but because it felt safe. Years later, he realized that the quiet path had been prepared especially for him. It would have led him through landscapes shaped perfectly for his growth. It would have dread him, healed him, and fulfilled him. But he had mistaken noise for confirmation. My beloved child, I tell you this story because I do not want you to miss your quiet path. I do not want you to ignore the sacred appointment hidden inside an ordinary moment. You have felt the pull toward something different. You have sensed that there is more for you than what is familiar. That pull is not confusion. It is calling. This appointment is not about pressure. It is not about performance. I am not standing over you with a list of demands. I am standing beside you as a loving father who sees the road ahead. I know where it bends. I know where it blooms. I know where it breaks open into beauty. There are times when I speak loudly to protect you from danger. But there are other times when I speak softly because I am inviting you into trust. This is one of those times. I am inviting you to trust that your presence here is intentional, that the stirring in your spirit is meaningful, that the timing is not late and not early, but exact. You have worried that you have already missed your chance. You have replayed past decisions in your mind, wondering if one wrong turn disqualified you. Hear me clearly. Nothing you have done has erased my plan for you. I am not fragile. My purpose for your life is not shattered by your mistakes. I weave even your detours into the journey. This is not a coincidence. This is alignment. Even now, as you listen, something inside you is becoming still. The noise is fading just enough for you to recognize my voice. That stillness is your confirmation. That peace, even if it is small, is your sign. You are standing at another crossroads, my beloved child. But this time, you are not alone. I am guiding you. I am guarding you. I am inviting you to step forward without fear. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. It carries weight. It carries intention. It carries my hand upon it. Stay close. There is more unfolding than you can yet see. My beloved child, I see the battle you do not speak about. You smile in front of others. You answer questions with "I'm fine." You carry responsibilities, meet expectations, and keep moving forward. But beneath the surface, there is a quiet war that few understand. It is the war of doubt against hope, the war of fear against faith, the war of exhaustion against perseverance. I see it all. I see the nights when your thoughts refuse to rest, when your mind replays old memories, old wounds, old regrets. I see the moments when you question your worth, when you wonder if you are truly capable of what lies ahead. I see the tears you wiped away quickly because you did not want anyone to notice. You may feel unseen by the world, but you have never been unseen by me. There are battles that are loud and obvious, and then there are battles that are silent, fought behind closed doors, deep within the heart. The silent ones are often the hardest. They drain you slowly. They make you question yourself. They whisper lies that sound almost like truth. Maybe you're not enough. Maybe you missed your chance. Maybe you're too broken to step into something greater. My beloved child, those whispers are not from me. Let me tell you another story. There was a garden hidden behind a tall stone wall. From the outside, it looked neglected. The soil seemed dry. The leaves that peeked over the wall appeared fragile. Passers-by assumed nothing beautiful could grow there. They walked by without a second glance. But inside that garden, beneath the surface, roots were growing deep. Seeds were pushing through dark soil. Rain had fallen at night when no one was watching. The gardener came quietly every morning before sunrise, tending, watering, protecting. Though the growth was not yet visible to the world, transformation was already underway. You are that garden. From the outside, some may not see your growth. They may not understand your struggle. They may not realize how much strength it takes for you to simply keep going. But I am your gardener. I have been tending to you in ways you cannot always feel. When you thought you were alone in your pain, I was strengthening your roots. When you felt buried under pressure, I was preparing you to break through the surface. The battle you are fighting is not proof of your weakness. It is evidence of your becoming. You have asked me, why is this so hard? And I answer you gently, because you are growing beyond old limits. Growth stretches. Healing sometimes aches. Letting go of old fears feels unfamiliar. But none of this is wasted. Do not mistake struggle for abandonment. I have not stepped away from you. In fact, I am closer now than you realize. When your heart feels heavy, I am holding it. When your thoughts spiral, I am whispering peace, even if you have not fully heard it yet. You are not failing because you feel tired. You are human. You are not faithless because you ask questions. You are learning. And you are not weak because you sometimes want to give up. The very fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking, shows a strength that cannot be easily broken. My beloved child, the hidden battle is shaping you for the visible victory. What feels like pressure is building endurance. What feels like confusion is teaching you to lean into my voice. What feels like isolation is deepening your roots in me. Do not be ashamed of the struggle. Bring it to me. Speak it honestly. I am not disappointed in your vulnerability. Adjure you. I am not overwhelmed by your fears. I am greater than them. Even now, the storm within you is calming. Even now, clarity is rising where doubt once ruled. Stay with me. The battle you are facing will not define you. It will refine you. And what is being formed in you is far more powerful than what is trying to break you. My beloved child, there was a moment recently when you felt something gentle brush against your spirit. It was not loud. It did not shake the ground. It did not demand attention. It was subtle, almost easy to ignore. And yet, it lingered. That was my whisper. You are used to noise. The world around you is filled with constant sound, opinions, expectations, comparisons, alarms, headlines, endless movement. Noise competes for your focus every hour of the day. And in the middle of that noise, my voice often comes like a soft breeze instead of a thunderclap. You almost ignored it. You felt a nudge to pause, to reflect, to take a small step in a new direction. Maybe it was a thought that would not leave you alone. Maybe it was a sudden sense of peace about something that once confused you. Maybe it was a gentle conviction to let go of something that has been weighing you down. It did not feel dramatic. It felt quiet. And because it was quiet, you questioned it. Is this really from God? Is this just my imagination? Shouldn't something more powerful confirm this? My beloved child, I do not always shout to prove my presence. I whisper to invite your closeness. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a ship lost at sea during the night. The waters are dark, and the wind is uncertain. The captain scans the horizon, searching for direction. In the distance, there is no explosion of light, no fireworks in the sky. Here is only a steady lighthouse beam, turning slowly, faithfully, again and again. That light does not scream. It does not chase the ship. It simply shines. The captain must choose to look for it. He must choose to trust it. If he becomes distracted by the waves or discouraged by the darkness, he might miss it entirely. But if he focuses, if he steadies his gaze, that quiet beam becomes the very thing that leads him safely to shore. My beloved child, my whisper is your lighthouse. It does not force you. It guides you. There are times when you have asked me for dramatic signs. You have wanted certainty wrapped in spectacle. But what I am building in you right now is sensitivity. The ability to recognize my voice even when it is soft. The maturity to follow me without needing noise to confirm every step. You are learning to discern. The whisper you almost ignored carries direction. It carries protection. It carries peace. If you lean in, you will notice that my whisper never produces fear. It may stretch you, yes. It may call you higher. But it will not shame you. It will not condemn you. It will not confuse you into chaos. My voice brings clarity, even if it unfolds slowly. You must guard your sensitivity to me. Distraction dulls your hearing. Constant comparison clouds your vision. When you fill every empty space with noise, it becomes harder to recognize my gentle leading. That is why sometimes I allow moments of stillness, not to isolate you, but to recalibrate you. You not despise the quiet seasons. They are where intimacy grows. The whisper you felt was not random. It was an invitation to trust more deeply, to move more intentionally, to release something you have been holding too tightly, to step toward something you have been hesitating to embrace. And here's what you must understand. The whisper will return, but it will not chase you endlessly. I honor your freedom. I guide, but I do not force. So lean in now, my beloved child. Slow down enough to listen. Let the noise fade just long enough for my voice to become clear again. You were never meant to be driven by chaos. You were meant to be led by peace. The lighthouse is shining. Do not look away. My beloved child, you have wondered why this feels so personal. Why these words seem to reach into places no one else can see. Why your heart responds in a way that feels almost exposed. It is because this moment was shaped with you in mind. Only you can see this the way you are seeing it now. Others may hear the same message and feel nothing. Others may pass by without sensing its weight. But your spirit is responding because it carries something unique. I did not create you as a copy. I did not design you to blend into the background of someone else's calling. I formed you with intention, with precision, with purpose that fits only you. You have spent too much time measuring yourself against others, watching their progress, comparing their pace, wondering why their doors seem to open faster, why their paths appear clearer. And in that comparison, you have sometimes questioned your own value. My beloved child, comparison clouds vision. It makes you look sideways when you were meant to look forward. Let me tell you something simple but powerful. What I have placed in you cannot be fulfilled by anyone else. There is a perspective you carry because of your experiences. There is compassion in you shaped by your pain. There is strength in you forged by battles you thought would break you. All of it has meaning. Imagine a master keyring filled with many keys. Each key is different. Some are small and delicate. Others are large and heavy. If you try to use the wrong key for a door, It will not fit. You can push harder. You can twist with force. But it will not open. That does not mean the key is useless. It simply means it was not meant for that door. You are not meant to open every door. You are meant to open the ones designed for you. The reason only you can truly see this moment is because it aligns with the key you carry. Your life has prepared you for it. Your struggles have sharpened you for it. Even your mistakes have shaped your understanding in ways that someone else could never replicate. You have asked me, why am I different? Why do I feel things so deeply? Why does my path look unlike everyone else's? My beloved child, the difference you sometimes resent is the very mark of your assignment. You were never called to duplicate another person's journey. You were called to walk your own. And yes, it can feel lonely at times, when others do not understand your choices, when they question your direction, when they cannot see what you see. But remember this, clarity does not always come to the crowd. Sometimes it is entrusted to one. I trust you. That may surprise you. You may not always trust yourself. You may second-guess your instincts. You may hesitate at the edge of opportunity. But I see the bigger picture. I know what I have woven into your spirit. I know the capacity inside you. Only you can see this because only you are meant to respond to it in this way. Do not shrink your vision to make others comfortable. Do not silence the stirring inside you just because it is unfamiliar. When I place something before you, it is not to confuse you. It is to awaken you. There are doors ahead that will not open for anyone else. There are lives you will touch in ways no one else can. There are conversations you will have that will change someone's direction forever. And all of it begins with you recognizing your uniqueness instead of resisting it. My beloved child, you are not an accident in this story. You are not a background character. You are chosen for your part. So lift your head. Stop looking at who you are not. Stop chasing doors that were never meant for you. The key in your hand fits perfectly into the purpose before you. And that is why this moment feels so clear to you. It was always meant to. My beloved child, I know that one of the hardest things for you is waiting. You live in a world that moves quickly, that rewards speed, that praises instant results. And when something in your life unfolds slowly, you begin to question it. You begin to question yourself. You begin to question me. But hear me clearly. My timing is sacred. There is a rhythm to everything I create. The sun does not rush its rise. The seasons do not compete with one another. Winter does not panic because spring has not yet arrived. Each season carries its own purpose, its own beauty, its own preparation. You, too, are in a season. And just because it does not look like the season you expected does not mean it is wrong. You have prayed for change. You have asked for doors to open. You have longed for clarity and movement. And when things did not shift as quickly as you hoped, disappointment tried to take root. You wondered if I had forgotten you. You wondered if you had somehow delayed your destiny. My beloved child, nothing about your life is delayed when it is in my hands. Let me tell you a simple parable. There was a farmer who planted seeds in his field. After placing them carefully into the soil, he returned home and waited. The next morning, he rushed back to the field, expecting to see green shoots breaking through the earth. But there was nothing. The soil looked unchanged. Frustrated, he knelt down and brushed away the dirt, searching for proof that something was happening. He could not see the roots forming beneath the surface. He could not see the quiet work taking place in darkness. Impatient, he considered digging up the seeds to check if they were growing at all. But had he done so, he would have destroyed the very process he was so desperate to witness. My beloved child, you are both the field and the seed. There is growth happening beneath what you can see. There are roots forming in hidden places. Strength is developing quietly. Wisdom is deepening. Character is solidifying. Just because the surface looks unchanged does not mean nothing is moving. Sacred timing often feels so because it is thorough. If I gave you everything you asked for the moment you asked for it, you might not yet have the foundation to sustain it. I do not withhold blessings to frustrate you. I prepare you to carry them well. You must trust that I see the full picture. I see not only the desire in your heart, but the path that will lead you there safely. I see the people who must enter your life at the right moment. I see the obstacles that must be removed first. I see the lessons that will protect you from future pain. There is no rush in heaven. There is precision. When you feel anxious about timing, when you compare your progress to others, when you fear you are falling behind, come back to this truth. You are exactly where you need to be for this chapter of your journey. The delay you resent may actually be your protection. The pause you resist may be your preparation. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not late. Sacred timing is not about speed. It is about alignment. Trust me in this season, my beloved child. Trust that what is meant for you will not miss you. Trust that what I have promised will unfold in its appointed time. And trust that when the moment comes for visible breakthrough, it will feel undeniable. Until then, let your roots grow deep. Let your faith grow steady. Let your heart remain anchored in me. The season you are in is not empty. It is sacred. My beloved child, there is something that has tried to stand between you and the fullness of what I am calling you into. It is not a mountain outside of you. It is not a locked door or a closed opportunity. It is a quiet voice within you that questions your worth. It is doubt. Not the kind of doubt that asks honest questions. That kind can lead you closer to me. I am speaking of the doubt that whispers lies about who you are. The doubt that tells you that you are not ready, not qualified, not strong enough. The doubt that makes you shrink when you should stand tall. You have felt it, haven't you? When an opportunity appears, excitement rises for a moment. Then doubt follows quickly behind it. What if I fail? What if I disappoint? What if I am exposed as not being enough? And slowly, almost without noticing, you begin to step back instead of forward. My beloved child, doubt has been trying to protect you from pain. But it has also been trying to keep you from growth. Let me share something with you. There was once a young eagle raised among chickens. It scratched at the ground, flapping its wings just enough to hop from place to place. It saw other birds flying high in the sky, but it assumed that kind of flight was not meant for it. After all, it had never flown before. It had never tested its wings fully. One day, a strong wind swept across the field. The eagle felt it beneath its wings and panicked. It feared being lifted off the ground. Flying felt dangerous, unfamiliar. It clung to the earth instead of trusting the wind. But what it did not realize was that its wings were designed for that very wind. My beloved child, there are winds in your life right now. Opportunities, ideas, stirrings, invitations. And doubt is telling you to cling to the ground. It is telling you that staying small is safer, that remaining where you are is more comfortable. But you were not created to live beneath your potential. You have believed lies about yourself for too long. Lies formed by past failures. Lies shaped by criticism. Lies planted by moments when you tried and did not succeed the way you hoped. Each disappointment added another layer of hesitation. Hear me clearly. Your past mistakes do not define your future capacity. I do not measure you by your worst moment. I do not define you by your fear. I see you through the lens of purpose, not performance. I see the strength in you that you overlook. I see the resilience you develop through hardship. I see the compassion in your heart that was born from pain. Doubt tells you that you must be perfect before you begin. I tell you that you must be willing. Perfection is not the requirement. Trust is. When doubt rises, do not fight it with anger. Acknowledge it, then bring it to me. Say, Father, I am afraid. I am not offended by your honesty. I am not disappointed in your vulnerability. I meet you there. Each time you choose to step forward despite doubt, you weaken its grip. Each time you act in faith, even if your hands tremble, you strengthen your wings. You are more capable than you believe. You are more prepared than you feel. You are more supported than you realize. Doubt may still whisper, but it does not have authority over your destiny. Lift your eyes, my beloved child. The wind beneath your wings is not there to harm you. It is there to carry you higher. And I am the one who controls the wind. Trust me enough to loosen your grip on the ground. You were never meant to stay there. My beloved child, there is a door before you. It may not look like a grand entrance. It may not be carved with gold or surrounded by applause. In fact, it may appear ordinary, almost easy to overlook. But do not be deceived by simplicity. Some of the most life-changing doors look unremarkable at first glance. You have been standing near it for a while now. You have sensed it in quiet thoughts that return again and again. You have felt it in the subtle excitement that rises when you imagine stepping through. And yet, hesitation has kept your hand from the handle. You wonder what lies on the other side. You wonder if you are truly ready. You wonder what you might have to leave behind. Doors always require transition. To step through one means you cannot remain exactly where you were. Even if the movement is small, it is still movement. And movement requires courage. My beloved child, I would never place a door before you without also giving you the strength to open it. The door is not there to intimidate you. It is there to invite you. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who lived in a small, dimly lit room. It was familiar to her. She knew every crack in the wall, every sound in the night. Though it was cramped and uncomfortable, it felt safe because she understood it. One day, she noticed a door she had never opened before. Light streamed from beneath it, thin but steady. She approached it many times but always stepped back. What if it leads somewhere worse? He thought. What if I cannot return? The unknown felt more frightening than the discomfort she had grown used to. One day, weary of the darkness, and she finally reached for the handle. Her hand trembled not because the door was heavy, but because her fear was. When she turned it, the door opened easily. Beyond it was not chaos, not loss, not danger. It was space. It was light. It was fresh air. It was room to grow. The door had never been locked. It had only required her decision. My beloved child, the door before you is similar. It may represent a new habit, a conversation you need to have, a step of obedience, a risk of faith, a letting go, a beginning. Whatever form it takes, it stands before you because it aligns with your next season. Hesitation whispers, stay where you are. But staying is not always safety. Sometimes staying becomes stagnation. You were not created to remain confined in places that no longer serve your growth. I am not rushing you. I am not pushing you harshly from behind. I stand beside you, my hand steadied, my presence constant. But I will not turn the handle for you. That is your part. You may fear that if you open this door, you will fail. But hear me clearly. Even if you stumble on the other side, I will be there. Even if the path beyond it challenges you, I will guide you. There is no door I invite you to open that I do not walk through with you. The greatest regret is not trying and failing. It is never opening the door at all. My beloved child, you are stronger than your hesitation. The key is already in your hand. The handle is within reach. The light beneath the door is not an illusion. It is promise. Do not let fear convince you that you are safer in the shadows. You were made for expansion. You were made for growth. You were made to step into what I have prepared for you. Take a breath. Place your hand on the door. And trust that what waits on the other side is not there to harm you, but to transform you. My beloved child, if there is one thing that quietly steals more destiny than fear, it is distraction. Distraction rarely announces itself as danger. It often appears harmless. It comes dressed as business, as entertainment, as endless scrolling, as comparison, as overthinking. It fills your time just enough to keep you from noticing what truly matters. And slowly, without realizing it, your focus begins to drift. You do not lose your calling in a single dramatic moment. You lose clarity in small, unnoticed fragments. You have felt this before. You set your heart on something meaningful. You sense my direction. You begin to move toward it. Then something pulls at your attention. A voice from the past. An unexpected problem. The opinions of others. A wave of self-doubt. Before long, your energy is scattered, and the door that once felt urgent now feels distant. My beloved child, distraction is subtle. It does not always tell you to abandon your purpose. It simply encourages you to delay it. Tomorrow, it says. Later, it whispers. There is no rush. But you must understand something important. While there is sacred timing, there is also sacred focus. Let me share a picture with you. Imagine an archer standing in a field, bow in hand. In the distance, there is a target placed carefully before him. The wind is calm. His stance is steady. He draws the arrow back and prepares to release it. But just as he aligns his aim, someone nearby begins shouting. Another person waves their arms in his peripheral vision. A sudden noise startles him. If he turns his head every time something moves around him, his arrow will never reach its mark. The target has not moved. The path remains clear. But his divided attention prevents his success. You are that archer, my beloved child. I have placed a target before you. Not one shaped by comparison, not one defined by someone else's expectations, but one aligned with your unique purpose. Yet the world around you constantly competes for your gaze. It pulls at your emotions. It tempts you with quick satisfaction instead of lasting fulfillment. Distraction drains your strength because it scatters your focus. When you give your attention to things that do not nourish you, you feel exhausted. When you compare your journey to someone else's highlight moments, you feel inadequate. When you allow every opinion to shape your direction, you feel confused. That confusion is not from me. I am not the author of chaos in your spirit. I guide with peace. I direct with clarity. When you feel pulled in too many directions, it is a sign to pause and return your focus. Ask yourself gently, what has been consuming your attention lately? Is it feeding your growth, or is it fragmenting your heart? My beloved child, guarding your focus is not selfish. It is wise. You cannot step fully into what I am showing you if your eyes are constantly turned elsewhere. You cannot hear my whisper if the volume of the world is always turned up. There will always be noise. There will always be invitations that look appealing but lead nowhere meaningful. There will always be people who misunderstand your path, but you must decide what deserves your energy. You were not created to chase every flashing light. You were created to follow my steady one. Return your gaze to the target. Lift your eyes from the distractions. Reclaim your time. Reclaim your attention. Reclaim your peace. The door before you is still there. The whisper is still speaking. The wind beneath your wings is still ready to lift you. Do not let distraction cause you to miss what is meant for you. Steady your heart, my beloved child. Aim again. And when you release the arrow with focus and trust, you will see just how precise my guidance has always been. My beloved child, this is your turning point. Not a dramatic explosion, not a sudden earthquake, but a quiet, powerful shift within you. A moment where something settles into place. A moment where confusion begins to clear and courage begins to rise. You may not see fireworks in the sky, but deep inside, you feel it. Something is changing. You have listened. You have wrestled. You have questioned. And now you stand at the edge of decision. Turning points are not always visible to others. They happen in the heart before they ever show up in circumstances. They begin with a choice, a decision to trust instead of retreat, a decision to focus instead of drift, a decision to open the door instead of staring at it. This is that moment for you. You have been waiting for a sign, for confirmation, for reassurance that you are not alone in this journey. Let this be your confirmation. I am with you. I have been with you. I will remain with you. The fears that once felt overwhelming no longer have the same grip. The doubts that once shouted are growing quieter. The distractions that once pulled you away are losing their power. Because you are choosing awareness. Something inside you is awakening. You are beginning to recognize my voice more clearly. You are beginning to understand that your uniqueness is not a flaw, but a calling. You are realizing that waiting hath been preparation, not punishment. You are seeing that the door before you is not there to test you, but to transform you. This is where hesitation ends and intention begins. My beloved child, you do not need to have every detail mapped out before you move. You only need the next step. And I am giving it to you now. Trust me enough to move forward. Trust me with your future. Trust me with your reputation. Trust me with the outcome. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into alignment with me. The turning point is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming fully yourself. The person I designed. The person shaped by grace, strengthened by struggle, refined by patience. The version of you that no longer shrinks back from possibility. Breathe deeply right now. Feel the weight lifting. Feel the clarity forming. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter within it. One where you walk with greater confidence. One where you listen more closely. One where you no longer miss the sacred because you are too distracted by the temporary. My beloved child, this moment matters, and you are ready for it. Now, as this turning point settles into your spirit, I want you to understand something beautiful. When you respond to my voice, when you stay present in moments like this, you do not only bless your own life, you become part of something greater. There are others, just like you, standing at their own crossroads, fighting their own hidden battles, longing to hear that they are seen and loved. When you choose to help carry this light forward, you become a sower of hope. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I speak this not as distant words, but as a living promise over you. If your heart is stirring right now, that is my invitation. When you give through Super Thanks, when you join as a member, when you sow through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code before you, you are not supporting a platform. You are opening doors for souls to encounter me. Do not see it as a transaction. See it as planting seed in fertile ground. What you release becomes light in someone else's darkness. I bless every seed you sow. I breathe increase over your generosity. I multiply what you place in my hands. Step into this moment. Sow boldly. Be part of the harvest I am gathering. My beloved child, you have been praying for something specific. Perhaps you have not spoken it aloud to anyone else. Perhaps you have carried it quietly in your heart, unsure whether it was too small to matter or too big to be possible. But I know it. I know the exact shape of your request. I know the hope attached to it. I know the fear that sits beside it. You have asked for change. You have asked for breakthrough. You have asked for healing, for clarity, for restoration, for provision, for direction. Some days your prayers were bold and confident. Other days they were nothing more than a whisper in the dark. Father, please. I heard everyone. There is not a single tear that has fallen from your eyes that I have not noticed. There is not a single silent plea that has gone unheard. You may think your prayers have been floating into emptiness, but they have been landing in my hands. Let me show you something. Imagine a field freshly planted with seeds. When the farmer finishes his work, the land looks unchanged. The soil is still brown. The surface is still flat. If someone were to pass by, they might say, "Nothing is happening here." But beneath its soil, hidden from sight, life is beginning. The seed must first break open before it can rise. It must surrender its old form before it can become something greater. Roots stretch downward before shoots reach upward. Growth begins in darkness before it is revealed in light. Your prayers are like those seeds. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is none. Just because the surface looks the same does not mean transformation has not begun. Sometimes the most important work happens where your eyes cannot reach. You have been tempted to dig up the soil of your faith to check if anything is growing. You have wondered, is anything changing? Is anything moving? Did I misunderstand? My beloved child, trust the process of unseen growth. There are answers forming in places you cannot yet perceive. There are conversations aligning. There are hearts being softened. There are doors being prepared. There are pieces shifting quietly into position. Not all prayers are answered instantly. Some are cultivated carefully. You must also understand this. Sometimes the answer you are waiting for begins within you before it appears around you. The healing you asked for may first show up as courage to let go. The breakthrough you longed for may begin as strength to endure one more day. The clarity you desired may start as peace and uncertainty. Do not overlook small shifts. They are signs of larger movement. My beloved child, I am not ignoring you. I am shaping you. I am not withholding from you. I am preparing what will bless you fully and not temporarily. I care too deeply about you to give you something incomplete. When you feel discouraged, return to this truth. Seeds take time. Roots take time. Growth takes time. But harvest always comes in its season. Continue to pray. Continue to trust. Continue to hope. Even when you cannot see the result yet, speak with expectation. Not because you demand control, but because you know who holds the outcome. Your prayers matter to me. Your desires matter to me. Your tears matter to me. There is movement beneath the surface of your life right now. What you have been praying for is not forgotten. It is not lost. It is not dismissed. It is growing. And when the time is right, when the roots are strong enough and the season has fully turned, you will see with your own eyes that nothing you asked for in faith was ever wasted. Stay patient, my beloved child. The harvest is closer than you think. My beloved child, now that you understand your prayers are growing beneath the surface, there is something gentle yet powerful I must show you. The power of obedience in small steps. You often look for large instructions, grand assignments, clear, detailed maps. You tell yourself that when the direction is obvious and dramatic, then you will move. But most of the time, I guide you through simple, quiet steps. A phone call you feel prompted to make. A habit you sense you need to release. A truth you must finally accept. A boundary you must gently establish. A risk you must take, even if your voice trembles. These do not look like miracles. They look like ordinary decisions. Yet obedience in the ordinary is what unlocks the extraordinary. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who prayed every day for his life to change. He asked for greater purpose. He asked for open doors. He asked for impact. One morning, he felt a simple prompting. Wake up 1 hour earlier and use the time to prepare, to learn, to grow. It seemed too small to matter. How could 1 hour change anything? He thought. But he obeyed. 1 hour became a habit. That habit became discipline. That discipline shaped his confidence. That confidence positioned him for an opportunity he once felt unprepared for. The breakthrough he prayed for did not begin with applause. It began with obedience in a quiet hour. My beloved child, you underestimate the power of small yeses. When you say yes to a small act of faith, you strengthen your trust in me. When you choose alignment in something minor, you prepare your heart for something major. I rarely ask you to leap across mountains without first teaching you to walk steady steps. You may be waiting for me to move dramatically, while I am waiting for you to respond faithfully. Do not despise simple instructions. They are seeds of transformation. When you obey in the unseen, you build character that can sustain visible blessing. When you respond quickly to gentle conviction, your spiritual hearing sharpens. You begin to recognize my voice more clearly. Obedience is not about control. It is about connection. I do not ask you to obey because I need something from you. I invite your obedience because it keeps your heart aligned with mine. It positions you where grace flows freely. It guards you from detours you would later regret. There are small steps in front of you right now. You already know what some of them are. That conversation you keep postponing. That decision you keep delaying. The habit you keep justifying. The opportunity you keep hesitating to explore. You are not confused about them. You are cautious. My beloved child, courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. Obedience is not about having perfect clarity. It is about trusting me with the next step, even when you cannot see the entire staircase. Each small act of obedience builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds endurance. And endurance carries you into the fulfillment of what I have promised. Do not wait until you feel fully ready. Readiness often follows action. When you obey in what seems small, heaven takes notice. Doors begin to align. Timing begins to synchronize. Opportunities begin to surface. Not because you forced them, but because you walked in alignment. You asked for direction. I am giving it to you step by step. You asked for change. Change begins with decision. My beloved child, take the small step before you. Do it with trust. Do it with peace. Do it knowing that I walk beside you. The miracle you are waiting for may begin with something that looks very simple. Say yes, and watch what unfolds from that single act of faith. My beloved child, there is a fear that has quietly followed you for some time. It is not always loud, but it lingers in the background of your thoughts. It is the fear of missing out on what was meant for you. The fear that somehow, somewhere, you will overlook your destiny. That you will hesitate at the wrong moment. That you will choose incorrectly and close the door forever. This fear has made you anxious. It has made you overanalyze decisions. It has caused you to replay conversations and reconsider steps you have already taken. You tell yourself that if you think hard enough, plan carefully enough, and stay alert enough, you can prevent yourself from missing anything important. But my beloved child, destiny is not a fragile thread that snaps the moment you misstep. You have imagined your purpose as something so delicate that one wrong move could ruin it entirely. You picture a narrow path suspended over emptiness, where one stumble means everything is lost. That image has created pressure in your heart. It has made you feel as though you must perform perfectly in order to stay aligned with me. That is not how I lead you. Let me tell you a story. There was a child learning to walk along a winding garden path. The path curved gently through flowers and trees, sometimes bending in unexpected directions. The child worried constantly about stepping in the wrong place. What if I leave the path? The child asked. What if I get lost? But what the child did not fully understand was that the father walked beside them the entire time. When the child drifted slightly off course, the father gently redirected them. When the child stumbled, the father steadied them. When the child hesitated at a curve, the father reassured them. The path was not a tightrope over a cliff. It was a guided journey. My beloved child, I am your father on this path. You are not navigating your life alone. You are not responsible for holding everything together by your own strength. Yes, your choices matter. Yes, your obedience matters. But my grace is larger than your mistakes. The fear of missing out often disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you to stay tense, hyper-aware, constantly scanning for the next opportunity. But that tension steals your peace. It makes you anxious instead of attentive. There is a difference between awareness and anxiety. Awareness flows from trust. Anxiety flows from fear. You do not need to live in constant fear of missing what is meant for you. What I have prepared for you will not slip past you unnoticed. When it is time, I will make it clear. When the season shifts, you will sense it. When the door opens, you will recognize it. Trust that I am capable of guiding you. If you make a mistake, I can redirect you. If you misunderstand something, I can clarify it. If you move too quickly, I can slow you down. If you hesitate too long, I can gently nudge you forward. You are not one decision away from losing everything. You are one act of trust away from peace. Release the pressure to orchestrate every detail. Release the burden of believing that everything depends entirely on you. Walk with intention, yes. Listen closely, yes. But do not carry fear as your companion. My beloved child, you cannot miss what I have written for you when you remain close to me. Stay in my presence. Stay in conversation with me. Stay willing. That is enough. The path before you is not fragile. It is guided. And I am more committed to your purpose than you could ever be. Let fear loosen its grip. You are not going to miss it. You are being led. My beloved child, there is a light within you that you have not fully recognized. You have seen glimpses of it in moments of courage, in times when you encouraged someone else even while carrying your own burden. In a way you care deeply, feel deeply, hope deeply. That light did not come from the world around you. It came from me. When I formed you, I placed something radiant inside your spirit. Not a loud spotlight meant for attention, but a steady flame meant to bring warmth, clarity, and direction. Yet over time, circumstances tried to dim it. Criticism blew against it. Disappointment tried to smother it. Fear placed its hand over it. And slowly, you began to question whether the light was ever there at all. My beloved child, it is still there. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a candle in a dark room. At first, its flame looks small compared to the surrounding shadows. The darkness feels heavy, overwhelming even. But the moment the candle is lit, something shifts. The darkness does not fight. It does not overpower. It simply retreats where the light touches. The candle does not need to shout at the darkness. It only needs to burn. You are that candle. You have believed that your impact must be grand to matter, that unless you change the entire room, your light is insignificant. But light does not measure its worth by size. It measures it by presence. Every time you choose kindness instead of bitterness, your light shines. Every time you speak truth gently, your light shines. Every time you refuse to let pain harden your heart, your light shines. Every time you step forward despite fear, your light shines. You may not see the full effect of it, but others do. Sometimes silently, sometimes from a distance. There have been moments when you felt invisible, when you wondered if what you carry makes any difference at all. But the world around you is darker than you realize. And even a small flame changes the atmosphere. The enemy of your soul has tried to convince you to hide your light, to stay quiet, to blend in, to believe that your voice does not matter. But I did not design you to be hidden out of fear. I designed you to be steady in love. This does not mean you must force yourself into places that exhaust you. It does not mean you must perform for approval. It means you must stop shrinking. You have dimmed yourself to make others comfortable. You have lowered your expectations because you feared disappointment. You have silenced your dreams because you did not want to seem unrealistic. My beloved child, I did not give you light so you could cover it. There will be moments when the wind feels strong, when criticism feels sharp, when doubt whispers again. But remember this, a flame protected by steady hands does not easily go out, and my hands are steady. Guard your light. Feed it with truth. Strengthen it with prayer. Surround it with those who honor it. Do not allow comparison to extinguish it. Do not allow past mistakes to convince you it has faded. The world does not need you to be someone else. It needs the version of you that burns authentically, the one who walks with integrity, the one who loves deeply, the one who listens for my voice and responds. My beloved child, you are not meant to live in the shadows of self-doubt. You are meant to illuminate the path before you and for others. Let your light burn without apology. It was never an accident. It was a gift, and it is still shining. My beloved child, there have been seasons in your life when you felt invisible, not unseen in a physical sense, but unnoticed in a deeper way. You showed up. You gave your effort. You carried responsibilities. You extended kindness. Yet it seemed as though your presence barely registered. Others were celebrated. Others were acknowledged. Others were chosen. And you stood quietly in the background, wondering if you truly mattered. I saw every one of those moments. I saw the way you swallowed disappointment and told yourself it did not hurt. I saw the way you clapped for others while silently questioning your own value. I saw the times you thought, maybe I am just not significant enough. My beloved child, invisibility in the eyes of people does not equal insignificance in my sight. Let me tell you something gentle but powerful. Some of the most important preparation happens in hidden places. Think of a seed again, buried beneath soil. It is completely unseen. No one applauds its growth, and no one compliments its progress. It is surrounded by darkness, and yet, that hidden season is where roots form. It is where strength develops. It is where identity takes shape. If the seed were exposed too early, before its roots were ready, it would wither under pressure. Your hidden seasons have not been punishment. They have been protection. You have longed to be recognized. Elohim is not woe, is human. But there were things I needed to build in you away from the spotlight. Humility, depth, resilience, authenticity. If recognition had come too soon, it might have fed your insecurity instead of healing it. When you felt overlooked, I was shaping you. When you felt forgotten, I was forming you. When you felt small, I was strengthening you in ways applause never could. There were times when you questioned me directly. Why not me? You answered. Why am I always waiting? Why does it seem like others move forward while I remain here? My beloved child, waiting is not evidence of rejection. It is often evidence of refinement. I do not measure your life by public milestones. I measure it by faithfulness. I measure it by the quiet choices you make when no one is watching. I measure it by the integrity you maintain when shortcuts are available. I measure it by the love you show even when it is not returned. And in those measures, you have been seen. There are blessings that come with visibility, but there are also burdens. Influence carries weight. Responsibility increases. Pressure intensifies. If I elevate you before your heart is secure in me, the noise of recognition could distort your identity. So I have anchored you first. Do not mistake your hidden season for a wasted one. The roots you develop there will sustain you when elevation comes. The humility you learn there will protect you from pride. The resilience you built there will steady you when criticism arises. You were never invisible to me. When you cried alone, I was present. When you worked without acknowledgement, I was attentive. When you wondered if anyone noticed your effort, I was recording every faithful step. And now, something is shifting. The light within you is growing stronger. The roots beneath you are deep. The preparation is maturing. You will not remain hidden forever. But when visibility increases, it will not define you. It will simply reveal what has already been formed. My beloved child, your worth has never depended on applause. You have always mattered, even in the quiet, especially in the quiet. My beloved child, now that you understand you were never invisible to me, I must speak to you about courage. Not the loud, dramatic kind that makes headlines. Not the kind that demands attention. I am speaking of the quiet courage that rises in the heart when you decide to step forward even though your past still whispers. You have been shaped by experiences that left marks. Some of those marks are visible. Others are hidden beneath the surface. Words spoken over you. Failures that embarrassed you. Betrayals that surprised you. Opportunities that slipped through your fingers. Each one tried to convince you to play it safe from now on. Do not risk again, fear said. Do not trust again, Caution whispered. Do not try again. Doubt insisted. And so you hesitated. My beloved child, hesitation is understandable. Pain teaches caution. But I did not create you to live confined by yesterday's wounds. I created you to move forward with wisdom, not paralysis. Let me share something simple. There was a man who once fell while climbing a hill. The fall bruised him deeply. The memory of the pain stayed with him long after his body healed. When he approached another hill later in life, he froze. The slope was not as steep as the first one, but his mind replayed the previous fall. His legs felt weak, not because the hill was impossible, but because the memory was loud. The hill before you now is not the same as the one that hurt you. You must separate past pain from present opportunity. Yes, you have learned lessons. Yes, you are wiser now. But wisdom does not mean withdrawal. It means moving with awareness and trust. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move despite it. There is a step in front of you that requires bravery. It may involve speaking honestly. It may involve setting a boundary. It may involve pursuing something you once abandoned. It may involve forgiving when it feels undeserved. Whatever form it takes, it asks you to step beyond comfort. My beloved child, you are stronger than your memory of pain. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are reminders that you survived. They are proof that you endured. And endurance has built strength in you that you did not possess before. You have asked me for growth. Growth requires movement. Movement requires courage. I will not push you recklessly. I will not expose you carelessly. But I will invite you forward steadily. Each step you take with me will feel different from the steps you took alone in the past. This time, you are not relying solely on your own understanding. This time, you are guided. When fear rises, do not interpret it as a stop sign. Sometimes fear simply signals that you are approaching something meaningful. If the path before you aligns with my peace, even if it stretches you, do not retreat. Courage grows with use. The first step may feel heavy. The second will feel steadier. The third will feel natural. And before long, you will look back and realize the hill that once intimidated you is now beneath your feet. My beloved child, do not let the echo of old pain dictate your future. The story is not repeating itself. You are not the same person you were then. You are wiser. You are deeper. You are more anchored in me. Take the step. Lift your head. Move forward. I am beside you, not behind you. And together, we will climb higher than you ever thought possible. My beloved child, while you have been learning courage, something else has been happening quietly behind the scenes. There is a miracle already in motion. You have been looking for dramatic signs. You have been waiting for a sudden shift that would confirm everything at once. But I want you to understand that many miracles begin invisibly. They begin as alignment, with preparation, as subtle rearrangements you cannot yet detect. You measure progress by what you can see. I measure it by what is being positioned. Right now, conversations are aligning that will intersect with your path. Hearts are softening in places you thought were closed. Opportunities are forming quietly. Strength is building within you. Wisdom is settling deeper. Pieces are moving. You do not see the full picture, but I do. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a tapestry being woven on a large loom. From the front, the design is breathtaking, colors blending, patterns emerging, beauty forming. But from the back, it looks chaotic. Events cross in different directions. Knots appear randomly placed. There seems to be no clear order. If you judge the tapestry from the back alone, you would assume it was flawed. My beloved child, you are currently viewing the underside of the tapestry. You see threads crossing in ways that confuse you. You see delays that feel misplaced. You see changes that seem unrelated. But I am weaving from the front. Nothing is random. The delay you experienced was a thread being placed. The disappointment you endured was another thread. The courage you chose recently is yet another. Even the moments of doubt have been woven into something meaningful. The miracle you are praying for is not only about an outcome. It is about alignment. When everything comes together, it will not feel forced. It will feel right. It will feel timed. It will feel steady. You have worried that you are too late, that others are ahead, that opportunities have passed you by. But what is meant for you has not been given away. It has been preserved. There are doors you once wanted that did not open. At the time, you felt rejected. You questioned why I allowed them to close. But those closed doors redirected you. They shaped your path. They prevented you from stepping into rooms that would not have nurtured your growth. What I am preparing now is not rushed. It is intentional. Even now, you may notice subtle changes. A new sense of clarity. A shift in perspective. A fading attachment to something that once held you tightly. A growing confidence that surprises you. These are signs of movement. Do not dismiss them. Miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they look like peace where anxiety once lived. Sometimes they look like resilience where weakness once ruled. Sometimes they look like opportunity appearing at just the right time. My beloved child, trust that I am active even when you are resting. Trust that I am arranging even when you feel uncertain. Trust that I am building even when you see no evidence yet. You are not waiting alone in an empty room. You are standing in a space that is being prepared. Soon, connections will make sense. Timing will feel undeniable. What once seemed disconnected will reveal its purpose. And you will realize that the miracle was not sudden. It was unfolding all along. Stay expectant but stay peaceful. You do not need to force what I am already forming. The threads are being woven. The alignment is happening. And the miracle is closer than you think. My beloved child, as the threads of your life continue to weave together, I want to speak clearly about your calling. Not someone else's calling. Not the path that looks impressive from a distance. Not the role that earns the loudest applause. I am speaking of the assignment uniquely shaped for you. You have spent years observing others. You have admired their gifts. You have compared your progress to their milestones. You have sometimes wondered if you chose the wrong road because it does not look like theirs. But listen carefully. Comparison is a thief of clarity. When you compare, you distort your vision. You begin measuring your growth against a standard that was never meant for you. You question your pace. You question your design. You question your value. And slowly, you drift from the simplicity of your own path. I did not create you as a duplicate. Imagine a garden filled with many kinds of flowers. Some grow tall and bold, stretching toward the sky. Others bloom closer to the ground, small but intricate. Some blossom quickly in spring. Others take longer, unfolding in late summer. If one flower tried to become another, it would lose its beauty entirely. Each one reflects intention. You are not meant to bloom on someone else's timeline. You are not meant to carry someone else's fragrance. You are not meant to mimic someone else's design. There is a calling resting on you that matches your personality, your experiences, your strengths, and even your weaknesses. Yes, even your weaknesses. The areas where you struggled have built empathy. The places where you felt pain have created depth. The seasons where you waited have grown patience. Nothing about you is wasted. You have asked me, what exactly am I supposed to do? My beloved child, calling is not always revealed in a single grand vision. It unfolds as you walk. It clarifies as you obey. It strengthens as you trust. Your calling may not look dramatic at first. It may look like serving faithfully where you are. It may look like building something quietly. It may look like nurturing others. It may look like creating, teaching, leading, supporting, listening, guiding. The form is not as important as the alignment. When you are aligned with your calling, you feel a sense of rightness. Even if it stretches you, it feels meaningful. Even if it requires effort, it feels worthwhile. Even if it grows slowly, it feels authentic. But when you chase someone else's assignment, you feel drained. You feel out of place. You feel as though you are performing instead of living. My beloved child, release the need to measure yourself by someone else's highlight moments. Their journey carries responsibilities you do not see. Their path includes battles you do not know. What looks effortless from a distance may have cost them deeply. Focus on what I am placing in your hands. What stirs your heart consistently? What burdens you in a way that feels purposeful? What strengths come naturally to you even when you undervalue them? These are clues. You do not need to force clarity. Walk faithfully with what you understand now, and more will unfold. There are lives you will touch because of who you are, not because you tried to be someone else. There are doors that will open because you carry authenticity. There are opportunities that will align because you remain true to your design. Your calling is not a competition. It is a covenant between you and me. Trust that I know what I have placed inside you. Trust that I will lead you step by step. Trust that you are not behind, not overlooked, not misplaced. You are positioned. You are equipped. And your unique calling is unfolding exactly as it should. My beloved child, there are patterns in your life that did not begin with you. Some of them are subtle. Reactions you learned without realizing it. Fears that feel older than your own experiences. Ways of thinking that were shaped long before you understood their influence. You have carried certain cycles as though they were permanent parts of your identity. But they are not. There are generational patterns of scarcity, of silence, of anger, of insecurity, of settling for less than what I intended. Perhaps you watched those before you struggle in ways that felt unchangeable. Perhaps you promised yourself you would be different, yet found yourself repeating familiar habits. You began to wonder if change was even possible. My beloved child, you are not destined to repeat what hurt you. Let me show you something. Imagine a river that has flowed the same direction for many years. It has carved its path through the land. The water moves almost automatically along its familiar course. Now imagine someone carefully building a new channel beside it. At first, the water continues along the old route because it is easier. It is familiar. It requires no adjustment. But over time, with steady redirection, the water begins to shift. It flows into the new channel. The old path begins to dry. Breaking a cycle is like redirecting a river. It requires awareness. It requires intention. It requires patience. But it is possible. You may have inherited certain fears. You may have learned unhealthy coping mechanisms. You may have watched patterns of conflict, avoidance, or limitation. But inheritance does not equal destiny. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to respond differently. You are allowed to build differently. Sometimes breaking a cycle feels lonely. When you decide to handle conflict with peace instead of anger, it may confuse those around you. When you pursue growth instead of remaining stagnant, it may challenge familiar dynamics. When you establish boundaries where none existed before, it may feel uncomfortable. But discomfort does not mean you are wrong. It often means you are shifting the current. My beloved child, I have placed strength within you not only for your own transformation, but for the transformation of what comes after you. The choices you make today ripple forward. The healing you pursue now will bless generations you may never meet. Do not underestimate the power of one person deciding to change direction. You may say, "But this pattern feels so strong." Yes, because it has flowed for a long time. But it is not stronger than my grace in you. It is not stronger than your willingness to grow. It is not stronger than truth. Start small. Redirect one response at a time. Replace one unhealthy thought with truth. Choose one healthier habit. Speak one courageous word. Forgive one lingering offense. Each small redirection weakens the old channel and strengthens the new one. You do not have to dismantle everything in a single day. You only have to begin. My beloved child, you are not bound to the mistakes of those before you. You are not chained to patterns that limited you. You are not trapped in a story that must repeat itself. You are a turning point. Where there was silence, you can bring honesty. Where there was fear, you can bring courage. Where there was scarcity, you can bring faith. Where there was brokenness, you can bring healing. The river can change course. And as it does, you will look back and realize that what once felt inevitable was never permanent. You are not repeating the past. You are rewriting the future. My beloved child, there will be moments ahead when you cannot see clearly. Even after all this reassurance, even after the courage and clarity you have begun to feel, there will still be days when the path looks foggy. Days when answers seem distant. Days when you wish I would simply show you the entire map. But faith is not built on full visibility. Let me give you a picture. Imagine walking through a thick morning fog. You cannot see miles ahead. You cannot even see the full shape of the road in front of you. But you can see a few steps, just enough to keep moving. If you refuse to walk until the entire path becomes clear, you will remain frozen in place. But if you trust each small visible step, you will eventually reach the clearing. I do not always remove the fog immediately. Not because I enjoy your uncertainty, but because I am teaching you trust. You have often asked me for certainty. You have wanted guarantees before taking risks. You have wanted outcomes before obedience. You have wanted proof before movement. But if I showed you everything in advance, you would rely on sight instead of relationship. Trust grows when you choose to walk with me even when you cannot see the end. My beloved child, there is a difference between blindness and trust. Blindness is wandering without direction. Trust is walking while holding my hand. When a small child walks beside a loving father through unfamiliar terrain, the child may not know every detail of the journey, but the child feels secure because of who is holding their hand. The confidence does not come from knowledge of the path. It comes from confidence in the guide. You are not walking alone in the fog. There may be decisions you need to make soon. Choices that feel weighty. Changes that feel uncertain. You may wish for a voice from the sky spelling out every answer. Instead, I often give you peace as your compass. If peace remains as you move forward, that is guidance. If deep unrest persists, pause and listen again. I lead you gently, not with pressure, but with alignment. Sometimes the fog protects you from information that would overwhelm you. If you saw every obstacle ahead, you might feel discouraged before you begin. If you knew every challenge in detail, you might shrink back prematurely. Instead, I give you strength for today and guidance for the next step. That is enough. Do not measure my faithfulness by how much you can see. Measure it by how consistently I have carried you this far. Think back on moments when you were uncertain before. You did not have all the answers then either. And yet, you made it. You grew. You learned. You survived. You are still here. The same hand that led you through those seasons is leading you now. My beloved child, release the demand for full clarity. Embrace the invitation to daily trust. You are not required to know everything. You are invited to stay close. When fear tries to rise in the fog, remind yourself, I am guided. I am not lost. I am held. Step by step, breath by breath, decision by decision, you are being led. And when the fog finally lifts, you will look back and realize that every uncertain step was part of a beautifully directed journey. Keep walking. I am right beside you. My beloved child, you once asked me for a sign, not because you demanded proof, but because you were tired. Tired of wondering, tired of second-guessing, tired of hoping without reassurance. In a quiet moment, perhaps barely even aloud, you said, Father, if I am on the right path, show me. Confirm it somehow. This is your confirmation. Not by accident, not by coincidence, not by algorithm or timing alone. You are hearing this because your heart asked for clarity, and I am answering. Confirmation does not always arrive in thunder. Sometimes it comes as a steady peace that settles over your spirit while you listen. Sometimes it arrives as words that seem to describe your inner world too accurately to ignore. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet strengthening of resolve. You expected something dramatic. Instead, I am giving you something deeper. Let me tell you something important. Confirmation does not mean the absence of challenge. It means assurance within the journey. You may still face resistance. You may still encounter moments of doubt. But now you know you are not wandering. Think of a traveler navigating by stars at night. The sky is vast and dark. The terrain is uncertain. But once the traveler identifies the North Star, there is orientation. The star does not remove the night. It provides direction within it. I am your North Star. You asked for direction, and I have given you alignment. You asked if I was near, and I am reminding you that I never left. You asked whether your sensitivity to my voice was real, and I am affirming it now. The very fact that these words resonate with you is part of the sign. Not everyone will feel this stirring. Not everyone will sense the weight of it. What you do. My beloved child, do not dismiss confirmation when it arrives quietly. Your mind may try to explain it away. Maybe it's just coincidence, it may say. Maybe I am reading too much into it. But your spirit knows better. There is a calm forming in you. A subtle confidence replacing the anxious questioning. A gentle steadiness that says, I am being guided. Hold on to that. You have been afraid of making the wrong choice. Afraid of missing your moment. Afraid of stepping forward without absolute clarity. But this is your reminder that you are not navigating blindly. I am involved in your story. Even when you doubted, I was working. Even when you hesitated, I was patient. Even when you questioned me, I was not offended. You asked for a sign, and I am giving you something stronger than a fleeting symbol. I am giving you renewed trust. Let this moment anchor you. When the next decision arises, remember this confirmation. When fear tries to return, remember this reassurance. When others question your path, remember that you have heard from me. You do not need to search endlessly for more signs. You do not need to test every detail. Walk forward with what you have received. My beloved child, this is not the end of guidance. It is the beginning of deeper confidence. You are learning to recognize my voice. You are learning to trust the peace I place within you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not guessing. You are being led. And this moment, right here, is the answer you once quietly prayed for. My beloved child, now that you have received confirmation, there is something sacred you must learn to protect. Not everything that is forming in your life is meant for public discussion. Not every dream needs immediate announcement. Not every insight needs to be explained to those around you. There are seasons when what I am building in you must be guarded gently, like a flame sheltered from strong wind. You have felt the urge to share prematurely before, out of excitement, out of nervousness, out of a desire for validation. You wanted someone else to confirm what I was whispering to you. You wanted reassurance from voices you could see and hear physically. But my beloved child, not everyone can understand what has been entrusted to you. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a gardener who has just planted delicate seeds in fresh soil. If he constantly digs them up to show others what he planted, the roots will never form. If he exposes them too early, before they are strong enough to withstand the elements, they will struggle to survive. Growth requires covering before it requires display. The same is true for what I am doing in you. There are dreams taking shape in your heart. Your ideas forming. There are shifts happening internally. If you speak about them too soon, they may be misunderstood. Some may doubt you. Some may project their own fears onto you. Some may question what they cannot see. Their skepticism could shake your confidence before your roots are deep enough. Guarding what is sacred does not mean hiding in fear. It means exercising wisdom. There is a difference between isolation and discretion. Isolation withdraws completely. Discretion chooses carefully. You do not need to cut yourself off from everyone, but you must be intentional about who has access to your unfolding process. My beloved child, I am teaching you maturity. When you feel the impulse to share something new that is still forming, pause. Ask me first. Ask if it is time. Ask if the soil is ready. Sometimes I will say yes. Sometimes I will say wait. Waiting does not diminish the dream. It strengthens it. There will come a season when what has been hidden will be visible. When what has been nurtured quietly will stand confidently. But if you rush visibility, you risk weakening what I am carefully shaping. You have also experienced the pain of sharing something vulnerable with the wrong person. You felt exposed, misunderstood, perhaps even dismissed. That hurt taught you something important. Not every listener is a safe listener. I want you to be bold, but I also want you to be wise. You do not owe everyone access to your inner transformation. You do not owe explanations for every step of obedience. Some journeys are walked in partnership with me before they are witnessed by others. My beloved child, guard your peace. Guard your focus. Guard your growth. The world encourages constant broadcasting. It celebrates immediate display. But sacred things often grow best in quiet spaces. Do not mistake silence for stagnation. Sometimes silence is protection. Trust that I know when it is time for what I am building in you to be revealed. Until then, nurture it. Strengthen it. Pray over it. Prepare for it. You are not hiding. You are cultivating. And when the time comes, what has been guarded wisely will stand firm. Protect what is sacred. It is growing beautifully. My beloved child, there is something you still struggle to accept, the blessing hidden inside delay. You understand preparation. You understand growth. You understand timing in theory. But when a promise feels postponed, your heart grows restless. You begin to wonder if delay means denial. You begin to question whether the opportunity has quietly slipped away. But delay is not rejection. There are blessings that, if given too early, would crush you under their weight. There are doors that, if opened prematurely, would expose you to storms you are not yet equipped to navigate. There are responsibilities that require a depth you are still developing. Let me show you something gentle. Imagine fruit growing on a tree. At first, it is small and hard. If you pluck it too soon, it will taste bitter. It will not nourish. It will not satisfy. But if you allow it to remain on the branch through sun and rain, through changing weather and passing days, it softens. As wean, it becomes what it was meant to be. Ripeness requires time. You have been standing beneath certain branches in your life, reaching upward, longing to pull something down. You see the outline of the promise. You can almost taste it, but it is not fully ripe yet. And so you wait. Waiting stretches you because you cannot control it. You cannot speed it up with effort alone. You cannot rush maturity. You cannot force readiness. That lack of control makes you uneasy. My beloved child, I delay only what needs development. Sometimes the delay is shaping you. Sometimes it is aligning circumstances. Sometimes it is protecting you from unseen complications. Sometimes it is deepening your dependence on me instead of on outcomes. If I gave you everything the moment you desired it, you might begin to trust the gift more than the giver. Delay teaches endurance. It builds character quietly. It reveals motives. It refines desire. When something remains in your heart over time, even through waiting, it proves its depth. You have feared that waiting means you are forgotten. But I do not forget my children. I do not overlook what I have promised. I am not careless with your heart. Think back to past delays in your life. There were moments you once resented, opportunities that did not come when you expected. Yet now, with distance, you can see how timing protected you, how growth prepared you, how outcomes unfolded better than you imagined. The same truth applies now. My beloved child, I see what you cannot. I see the full timeline. I see the connections forming. I see the maturity strengthening within you. I see the obstacles dissolving gradually. Delay is not empty space. It is active preparation. In this season, do not grow bitter. Do not assume abandonment. Instead, lean deeper. Use this time to strengthen your roots, to refine your focus, to clarify your intentions, to build the capacity that future blessing will require. The fruit is still on the branch. It is ripening. And when the moment arrives, when the sweetness is complete and the timing is perfect, you will receive it not with anxiety, but with gratitude. Not with fear, but with readiness. Trust the pace of my process. What feels delayed is being perfected, and what is being perfected will be worth the wait. My beloved child, I know you are tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep alone can fix. Not just physical exhaustion, though you have felt that too. I am speaking of the deeper weariness, the kind that settles in your spirit after long seasons of waiting, rowing, fighting silent battles, and choosing obedience when it would have been easier to quit. You have been strong for a long time. You have carried responsibilities quietly. You have held yourself together when you felt like unraveling. You have kept moving forward even when motivation fell thin. And sometimes, in the quiet of your thoughts, you have wondered how much longer you can sustain this pace. My beloved child, you were never meant to carry everything alone. Strength does not mean constant striving. Faithfulness does not mean constant pressure. You have mistaken endurance for self-reliance. You have pushed yourself to keep proving that you are capable, dependable, resilient. But even the strongest tree requires seasons of rest. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a field that produces harvest year after year without pause. If it is never allowed to rest, the soil slowly loses its richness. Nutrients are depleted. Growth becomes strained. The field may still produce for a while, but eventually it weakens. But when the field is given a season of rest, time to breathe, to be replenished, to receive nourishment, it becomes fertile again. Stronger, more capable of sustaining abundance. You are not a machine, my beloved child. You are living soil. If you do not allow yourself rest, if you do not lean into my strength instead of your own, you will feel dry. And dryness can make you question your purpose, your calling, even my presence. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom. There are moments when I ask you to step forward courageously. There are seasons of growth and stretching. But there are also moments when I invite you to sit quietly with me, to lay down the burden of constant effort, to release the need to solve everything at once. You have been trying to anticipate every challenge ahead, trying to prepare for every possibility, trying to control outcomes. That constant vigilance has tired your heart. Come back to simplicity. You do not have to solve tomorrow today. You do not have to carry the entire journey in one breath. I am your source of strength. When you feel depleted, that is not a sign of failure. It is an invitation to return to me more deeply, to exchange your heaviness for my steadiness, to trade anxiety for trust. You may not see it yet, but renewal is already beginning. Even now, as you listen, there is a softening happening inside you. The pressure is easing. The tension is loosening. You are remembering that you do not walk alone. Lean on me. Let your prayers be simple again. Let your faith be quiet again. Let your expectations rest in my timing again. My beloved child, I'm restoring you. Your strength will return, not as frantic striving but as steady resilience. Your joy will return, not as forced positivity, but as deep assurance. Your clarity will return, not as rigid control, but as peaceful confidence. You are not at the end of your capacity. You are at the beginning of renewal. Breathe deeply. Lay your weariness at my feet, and receive the strength that does not run dry. My beloved child, after rest comes remembrance. I want you to remember who you are, not who fear said you were, not who failure tried to label you as, not who comparison convinced you to become. I want you to remember who I declared you to be from the very beginning. You were chosen, not randomly, not reluctantly, not as an afterthought. Chosen with intention, chosen with love, chosen with purpose woven into your design long before you took your first breath. You have often looked at your life and seen flaws, missed turns, weaknesses, moments where you felt less than others. You have asked, why me? Sometimes in confusion, sometimes in frustration. But the same question can be asked in wonder. Why you? Because you carry a perspective no one else can replicate. Because your heart has been shaped through experiences that built depth. Because your compassion was formed in places of pain. Because your endurance was forged in quiet battles. If I needed perfection, I would not have chosen humanity. I choose willing hearts. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a master craftsman selecting wood for a masterpiece. Some pieces look smooth and flawless. Others carry knots, scars, and unique grain patterns. The inexperienced eye might choose only the smoothest pieces, but the master sees differently. He knows which piece will create contrast, which one will add character, which one will strengthen the structure. The piece that looks imperfect may become the most beautiful part of the design. My beloved child, I am that master, and you are not a mistake in my hands. You may look at your scars and see weakness. I see testimony. You may look at your past and see disqualification. I see preparation. You may look at your current position and see insignificance. I see positioning. You were not chosen because you had everything figured out. You were chosen because your heart is teachable, because you are willing to grow, because you continue to seek me even when you struggle. Stop disqualifying yourself. Stop shrinking in rooms where you belong. Stop assuming that others are more worthy. You are not an accident in the story unfolding around you. You are part of the design. There will be moments ahead when you are tempted to step back again, when you question your capacity, when you compare your behind the scenes to someone else's visible success. In those moments, remember this: I do not call the qualified, I qualify the called. And you are called not to replicate someone else's journey, not to compete for attention, but to walk faithfully in the lane I have marked for you. You do not need to prove your worth. Your worth was established before your performance. You do not need to chase validation. You already have my affirmation. You do not need to be fearless. You only need to be faithful. My beloved child, lift your head. Stand in the truth that you are chosen. Chosen for growth. Chosen for impact. Chosen for influence in ways that may look ordinary but carry eternal weight. You were not overlooked when purpose was assigned. You were included. And as you continue forward, remember that being chosen is not about pride. It is about responsibility. It is about humility. It is about walking in alignment with the one who called you. You are not here by accident. You are here on purpose. And I am not finished with you yet. My beloved child, now that you understand you are chosen, I want to speak to you about faithfulness. Not the kind that is noticed publicly. Not the kind that earns applause or recognition. I'm speaking of the quiet faithfulness you have shown in moments when no one else was watching. You have remained when it would have been easier to leave. You have continued when it would have been simpler to stop. You have loved when it would have felt justified to grow cold. Those choices matter more than you realize. The world celebrates dramatic success. It honors visible achievement. But heaven measures consistency. The daily decisions, the steady obedience, the unseen sacrifices. You sometimes feel as though your efforts go unnoticed. You give your time, your energy, your care, and you wonder if it makes any real difference. You question whether your faithfulness is producing anything meaningful. My beloved child, faithfulness is never wasted. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a builder laying bricks one at a time. Each brick looks insignificant on its own. Placed in isolation, it seems ordinary. But over time, as brick is added to brick, a structure begins to rise. A wall becomes a building. A building becomes a shelter. A shelter becomes a place of refuge. If the builder grew impatient and abandoned the work after only a few bricks, nothing would stand. It is consistency that creates stability. Your life is being built brick by brick. Each small act of integrity is a brick. Each quiet prayer is a brick. Each decision to forgive is a brick. Each moment of self-control is a brick. You may not yet see the full structure, but it is forming. There have been times when you felt tempted to compromise, to cut corners, to abandon standards because no one seemed to notice your effort anyway. But something within you held steady. That something was my spirit strengthening you. Faithfulness often feels repetitive. It feels ordinary. It feels slow. But repetition builds resilience. Ordinary obedience creates extraordinary foundation. My beloved child, reward is not always immediate. Seeds do not sprout the day they are planted. Buildings do not rise in a single afternoon. But progress is happening. There will come a day when you look back and see the structure clearly. You will see how your steady choices created stability in your life. You will recognize how your consistency shaped your character. You will understand how your quiet faithfulness positioned you for greater responsibility. Do not envy those who appear to rise quickly without foundation. Height without depth cannot withstand storms. You are being built with depth. Faithfulness also refines your heart. It shifts your motivation from seeking recognition to seeking alignment. It frees you from performing for applause. It anchors you in purpose rather than comparison. You are not unseen in your consistency. I see every brick you lay. I see the moments you choose integrity when it costs you. I see the prayers whispered when you are exhausted. I see the patience you extend even when you feel misunderstood. Nothing is wasted. My beloved child, continue. Continue showing up. Continue building. Continue choosing what is right even when it is quiet. Continue trusting that I am weaving meaning into your daily obedience. The reward of faithfulness is not only what you receive, it is who you become. You are becoming steady. You are becoming grounded. You are becoming trustworthy with more. Keep laying the bricks. The structure is rising, and it will stand firm because you chose to remain faithful. My beloved child, there is something I want to settle deeply in your heart right now. Heaven is closer than you think. You sometimes imagine me and distant, watching from far away, observing your life from beyond reach. When circumstances feel heavy or silence stretches longer than you expected, you assume I must be farther than before. But I have never moved away from you. Distance in feeling does not mean distance in reality. When clouds cover the sun, the earth may feel cooler, darker. But the sun has not vanished. It is still burning with the same intensity behind the clouds. In the same way, when emotions shift or clarity fades, my presence has not weakened. I am near, closer than your next breath, closer than your next thought, closer than the fear that sometimes tries to convince you otherwise. There were moments in your life when you felt abandoned, when prayers seemed unanswered, when doors closed without explanation. In those seasons, you questioned whether I was paying attention. My beloved child, I was carrying you more than you realized. You tend to measure my presence by your feelings. If you feel peace, you assume I am close. If you feel anxious or uncertain, you wonder if I stepped back. But my presence is not dependent on your emotional weather. Storms can rage while I remain steady. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a child learning to swim in a pool. The father stands in the water beside the child, close enough to catch them at any moment. The child may panic briefly when water splashes their face. They may feel unsupported for a second. But the father's hands are never far away. He watches closely. He adjusts gently. He steps in instantly when needed. That is how I stand with you. You are never navigating alone. Even in your most confusing seasons, I have been guiding your steps subtly. Even when you doubted your direction, I was redirecting quietly. Even when you feared the worst, I was protecting you from what you did not see. Heaven is not a far-off place disconnected from your daily life. It is actively involved. I am not waiting passively for you to figure everything out. I am engaged in the details of your story. You do not need to climb to reach me. You do not need to earn my nearness. You do not need to perfect yourself to qualify for my presence. I dwell with you. When you wake up, I am there. When you drive in silence, I am there. When you sit in uncertainty, I am there. When you celebrate quietly, I am there. My beloved child, let this truth calm your restless thoughts. You are not forgotten between prayers. You are not ignored between breakthroughs. You are not distant between signs. I am constant. Sometimes you look for dramatic experiences to confirm my nearness. But my presence is often steady rather than spectacular. It is the peace that returns after panic. It is the strength that rises after exhaustion. It is the hope that lingers despite disappointment. That is me. Draw near to me consciously, and you will sense what has always been true. Speak honestly with me. Sit quietly with me. Walk daily with awareness that I am beside you. You do not have to shout to be heard. You do not have to strive to be noticed. Heaven is not far. It is intertwined with your journey. And I am closer than you think. My beloved child, we are coming full circle now. At the beginning, I told you not to miss it. I told you this moment mattered. And now, after all that hath been spoken, I must say it again with even greater clarity. Do not drift back into forgetfulness. Revelation is powerful in the moment it is received, but it must be guarded if it is to shape your life. You have felt peace rising. You have sensed clarity settling. You have recognized confirmation. But the world will continue moving. Noise will return. Responsibilities will press in again. And in the middle of routine, you may be tempted to forget what you felt here. That is how sacred moments are missed, not by rejection, but by neglect. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a traveler who receives a map in a quiet room. The map is detailed, clear, and marked with careful direction. While inside that room, the traveler studies it closely. Confidence grows. Understanding deepens. But once outside, distractions appear. Conversations start. Urgencies arise. The map is folded and placed in a pocket. If the traveler never unfolds it again, the guidance is wasted, not because it was wrong, but because it was ignored. My beloved child, do not fold away what I have spoken. Urgency is not about panic. It is about awareness. This chapter of your life requires attentiveness. You are stepping into a season where small decisions carry weight, where subtle shifts matter, where obedience in quiet areas will shape visible outcomes. You cannot afford to move unconsciously. There are habits that will try to reclaim your focus, old patterns that will try to resurface, familiar doubts that will knock again. They will not appear aggressively at first. They will whisper gently, "It wasn't that serious." You can relax. You can go back to how things were. But you know better now. You have seen the door. You have sensed the calling. You have felt the confirmation. You have recognized the miracle already moving. You have understood the importance of guarding what is sacred. Do not treat this awareness lightly. My beloved child, vigilance does not mean anxiety. It means intentionality. It means choosing daily to remain aligned. It means pausing before reacting. It means remembering truth when lies try to creep back in. There is something ahead that requires your readiness. If you slip back into distraction, you may not lose your purpose, but you may delay your progress. If you ignore my whisper, I will not abandon you, but you may miss the ease that comes with alignment. This is why I say again, do not miss it. Do not miss the subtle leading. Do not miss the opportunity to respond quickly. Do not miss the peace that guides you. Do not miss the courage rising within you. Stay awake in your spirit. Stay sensitive to my voice. Stay grounded in what you now know. You are not walking blindly anymore. You are walking informed. And with knowledge comes responsibility. This is not a warning of fear. It is an invitation to maturity. My beloved child, the season ahead will reward attentiveness. What once felt confusing will become clear. What once felt distant will draw near. What once felt impossible will begin to unfold. But you must remain present. Do not drift. Do not dismiss. Do not delay. The moment is still before you, and you are ready to step into it. My beloved child, this is the moment to step. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel perfectly ready. Not when every question hath been answered. Now, you have listened. You have reflected. You have received reassurance, correction, comfort, and clarity. You have felt the stirring in your spirit grow stronger. But understanding alone is not transformation. Awareness must become action. There comes a point in every journey where contemplation must turn into commitment. Imagine standing at the edge of a shoreline. The water stretches before you, calm, inviting, yet unknown. You have studied it. You have tested it with your toes. You have asked others about it. You have imagined what it might feel like to swim. But until you step fully in, you will never experience its depth. You are standing at the shoreline now. The door you saw earlier still waits. The step of obedience still calls. The conversation you need to have still lingers in your thoughts. The habit you need to release still tugs at your conscience. The dream you need to pursue still glows quietly within you. You already know what your next step is. It may not be dramatic. It may not be public. But it is decisive. My beloved child, stepping forward does not mean you will feel zero fear. It means you choose alignment over comfort. It means you value growth over familiarity. It means you trust me enough to move even if your hands tremble slightly. You have asked me to guide you. Now I am asking you to respond. There is a difference between waiting on me and hiding behind hesitation. Waiting is peaceful and expectant. Hesitation is restless and fearful. Deep inside, you can sense the difference. This is not a season of hiding. It is a season of stepping. When you move in obedience, even in small ways, something powerful shifts. Momentum begins. Confidence increases. Clarity sharpens. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt distant begins to approach. You do not need to leap across the entire journey. Just take the next faithful step. Send the message. Start the plan. Set the boundary. Wake up earlier. Speak honestly. Apply for it. Release it. Whatever it is, do not postpone it again. My beloved child, you are not as fragile as fear has suggested. You are not as unprepared as doubt has implied. You are not as alone as anxiety has convinced you. I am with you in this step. When your foot moves forward, my grace meets it. When your courage rises, my strength supports it. When you act in faith, heaven aligns behind you. Do not underestimate how much can change from one decision made in alignment. You may look back on this very moment someday and realize it was the hinge on which everything turned. Not because circumstances shifted instantly, but because you did. You chose trust. You chose obedience. You chose to step. My beloved child, step into what I have been preparing. Step into the door I have placed before you. Step into the alignment you now understand. Step into the calling that has been forming quietly within you. The shoreline is waiting. The door is open. The path is before you. And I am walking with you. Now move. My beloved child, we have reached the end of these words, but not the end of your journey. From the very beginning, I told you not to miss it. I told you this moment was meant for you. And now you understand why. You are not here by accident. You are not wandering without direction. You are not unseen, unchosen, or unprepared. You have heard my whisper and learned to recognize it. You have faced doubt and seen it lose its grip. You have stood before the door and found courage rising. You have understood that delay is not denial. You have remembered that you are chosen. You have realized that heaven is closer than you thought. This was never about information alone. It was about awakening. You were close to drifting, close to dismissing the nudge, close to letting distraction pull you away from alignment. But you paused. You listened. You opened your heart. And that matters. My beloved child, carry this awareness with you. Yarde. Return to it when noise grows loud again. When fear tries to revisit you, remember what you now know. When delay tests your patience, remember the ripening fruit. When fatigue weighs on you, remember that I restore your strength. When you question your calling, remember that you were chosen intentionally. You are stepping into a new chapter with greater clarity, deeper trust, and steadier courage. You will still face challenges, but you will not face them confused about who walks beside you. Do not miss what unfolds next. Stay attentive. Stay aligned. Stay close to me. And now, as this message settles into your spirit, understand something beautiful. What I have spoken to you is not meant to stop here. There are other hearts standing where you once stood, uncertain, weary, searching for confirmation. When you help carry this message forward, you become part of their awakening. As my word declares, cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will find it again. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, when you join as a member, when you give through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code placed before you, you are not giving to a channel. You are releasing light into dark places. I see every seed you sow. I breathe favor over your generosity. I multiply what you place in my hands and return it to you in ways that strengthen your life and expand your impact. Do not hesitate in this holy moment. Step forward in faith. Toe boldly. Partner with me in reaching the ones who are praying for the very confirmation you have just received. My beloved child, walk forward now with confidence. You are aligned. You are guided. You are loved beyond measure. Amen.